Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at how you can beat the fighting legend Goku with all Kamehameha units being entirely free to play. So this is another free to play challenge. As you guys know, in the free to play challenge I try to complete as much of the game's content free to play as possible. This is the Kamehameha challenge, probably one of the harder free-to-play challenges, if I'm honest. Leader skill just wasn't there. There were a couple ways to kind of work a higher than 77% lead skill, but it was very restrictive on team building. And then also, there's just one or two units that are a little bit lackluster. But fortunately, the units that are great are indeed very great. And I think that does help us out quite a bit. So we'll talk about the team, just starting with the units that are kind of in front of us, and we'll take things from there. So the UI Goku is a pretty straightforward unit. He is pretty much super duper simple. Stacks attack and defense, and he's got a 50% chance of evading, and he gives 30% support to Universal Survival Saga. Nothing too crazy there, we're not too concerned about him. He should stay in stack and dodge. Stack and dodge, stack and dodge. Then we have a couple of interesting choices. So I've got the physical Namek Goku. A unit that can get relatively high defense due to the fact that he has stacking attack and defense for 3 turns. But also he provides a heal actually when he falls below a certain health threshold, which is going to help us out. Having heals is always super helpful, and Goku having a physical typing does help for the final phase against the Int Goku. We will have to pop some items in the phase against the Strength Goku, but yeah, overall not too bad a situation to be in. Then we have, of course, AGL Gohan team. A unit I recently did a review on, who is a very solid unit. He has attack and defense of 158%, 20% attack and defense all the way up to 58% for each attack performed, 20% attack and defense with every single super attack performed up to 58%, so he can get decently high defensively. He's not going to get crazy high, like high enough to tank supers very well or anything like that. But he'll be able to tank normals more than fine, even under this lower lead skill. And yeah, just pretty good, pretty decent stats, pretty good damage dealer, nice link set. So all comes together pretty well. And yeah, he does a good job. So there's really nothing too crazy that I at least am personally worried about with him. So that does make things a lot easier. Then we have the Great Saiyaman 4, obviously a Dragon Ball Heroes unit. Great Saiyaman 4 is pretty solid. I do like him a lot. Stacks attack and defense as well. A superclass support to a certain extent. Also a youth category support to a certain extent. We don't have a lot of youth units on our team, but yeah, he does still kind of somewhat help out in that category. But yeah, overall, I would say at least pretty decent a character. Now, obviously, some of his kit is a little bit not usable here just due to the fact that we don't have so many youth characters, but just his stacking and this bit of support that he does provide is more than enough. Then we have Grandpa Gohan and Pan, kind of like the Halloween unit that they released, or was it April Fool's? No, it was Halloween. I think it was Halloween. No, it was Halloween. Was it? No. Yeah, it was. No. Anyway, it's either April Fool's or a Halloween unit, and they're pretty solid. I don't want to say they're like exceptional. They do okay actually under like full leads. They can do some decent damage, but generally speaking, they are just there to kind of float and do some okay business. They're not like this crazy unit, but they don't drag us down, and they have the Kamehameha leader skill. And it's kind of important that we have the Kamehameha leader skill because it does really help us out quite a bit. So then yeah, that's pretty much it for the majority of the team build. Obviously the friendly that we're taking is the Goku Gohan Kamehameha unit. A unit that's great in the second slot. Does fantastic damage. has crit chance per orb that they obtain, and is pretty strong defensively after super. So they're a very, very, very good unit, and they pretty much carry all of our offensive workload. As per usual, in all of these free-to-play challenges, your choice of friend lead is relatively important. I went for Goku Gohan because I do believe they have more defensive capability, but you could go for the AGL Gohan. It's also quite fine. He's a pretty good unit. And there are a couple other Kamehameha choices, but generally speaking I would stick between one of those two. Whichever one you can get Rainbow will be fine. Oh, and then yeah, final mention or final unit is the Int Super Saiyan Yardrak Goku, or obviously the Goku from the Android Cell Saga event. This Goku is pretty solid actually, so he has a high chance of evasion in the first slot, but we're not really going to use him that way. We're just going to use him to float. Now he actually has really solid defense in the second and third slot, because he has 58% damage reduction, and that 58% damage reduction is pretty helpful. It basically, for the most part, pretty much is very, very, very good in preventing us from taking huge damage via him at any point. Obviously supers still cause him a problem, although he's relatively sound defensively after firing a super. So yeah, I would say he's pretty decent. Overall, I think he does a great job as a floater, and I think he provides enough for our team to kind of get going. I think the number one important thing here is to link up the Great Saiyaman 4 and the UI Goku. I think the two of them are a very powerful pairing, and I honestly would say that having them paired up is pretty critical to like how well this is going to go, because they create a very strong pairing that we can kind of build off of. They're just very good defensively. Between the stacking and everything, they stack quickly enough, and between the evasion and the defensive support, they kind of give us our rotation to anchor on, which I think, it does help out a lot. Then on the second rotation, as you can see, I've been keeping the physical Namek Goku on rotation for a couple reasons. Main reason being, the number one reason being, is that keeping him on rotation allows him to maintain those defensive stacks, and that is important. I would say it is very, very, very important. So yeah, skipped ahead a little bit, but obviously, as I mentioned before, you're going to want to use some items during the strength unit phase, because of the fact that we have quite a few physical units. And then beyond that, that is basically it. There's really nothing else to it. We use the active skill of the Goku Gohan unit during this phase because, quite frankly, it does help with the damage and does set them up, so it is pretty good. They're okay defensively during this phase as well, by the way, so there's nothing really too much for you to worry about. We have a fairly strong team, I would say, and we managed to handle everything more than fine. So yeah, once the team gets going, it's fine. It's just those beginning phases can be a bit slow, with so many different stackers and kind of a little bit of a wonky link set, and only having the 77% Kamehameha lead very much is a hindrance more than anything else. But yeah, overall, I would say pretty good job, pretty good run. Took a little bit long, but at the end of the day, you know what? Free-to-play completion is at the price you pay. But yeah, that's going to be it for me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.